You've never heard anything like this. This is just wild. So for 6 years, Dan Martin and his wife Lucia lived 100% off the grid, and I mean completely cut off from society, not seeing one other person the entire time.
You are in the middle of nowhere. You are in an uninhabitable zone, they say, and yet in the middle, a man lived for 6 years with his wife, completely self-sustained. So he literally got on a helicopter and flew around, looking down at the ground. Didn't even care if there were roads that could get him where he needed to go. He says, hey, I'll make a road. They landed the helicopter on a mountaintop.
Author and off-the-grid expert Dan Martin.
Mr. Dan Martin, the author of The Apocalypse, How to Survive a Global Crisis, is going to be on the show in about 30 minutes with us.
But my goodness, I didn't know people like you existed. This is wild to me. How does a person decide they're going to do what you and your...
What if you went into a restaurant for a nice relaxing meal, and nothing on the menu had prices? Or rather, in nice bright red font, the letters F-R-E-E magically appeared next to each succulent dish. Wouldn't that be amazing? Now this isn't one of those pay-it-forward types of places, where you end up actually paying for the next guy's meal, or donate what you can if you can joint. The meal is really, actually free. No catches, no tricks or schemes, no gimmicks. There isn't even a cash register or credit card machine to process your payment, even if you wanted to pay. Okay, let's use a different example since you're still not getting it. You walk into the local organic grocery store, and guess what? All the produce, all the seafood is free. You take your shopping cart, get a little of this, some of that. Your total adds up to $0.00. And what's this? Again, no cash registers. What kind of store is this? This is some commie socialist thing where they're trying to get rid of capitalism, you may think. And you'd be exactly right. Check this out. The dollar will dip and dive. The cost of food and everything else will rise, as it always has. This is the essence and very nature of capitalism. But free is set and absolute. It's always free. It's always zero. It's always $0. And capitalists hate that. Just a few years ago, the price of a loaf of bread was a little over $2. Now it's almost $3, and yet the average household income has stayed the same or even dropped in the last 10 years. Food is a critical ingredient to our very survival. We need it to live. So how then can anyone with a grain of conscience monetize and capitalize on it? What, just because they were doing it before we were born? What's next? Water? Strike that. Already done. Air? Sunlight? In the next 50 years, capitalists will manage to convince the public that you need to go to your local light and air stores to purchase a few pounds of good old air and a few thousand lumens of pure sunlight, just like they've done with water. Think it's crazy? I'm sure our founding fathers thought that selling water was insane as well. Why isn't the right to eat, see, and breathe protected by our very Constitution? So we can start a religion? Awesome. Bear arms and shoot trespassers? Check. Even the right to free education and the freedom to speak, but not the necessities to sustain life itself. Strange. But there's other costs involved, right? Sure. But there's other costs involved in educating our kids as well. And of course, who could ever forget our incredible ability to raise massive amounts of profit? It's actually fairly sickening. According to the USDA, the average profit markup to actual cost on store-bought produce is 75%. For restaurants, it's twice that. In the medical field, over 1,000 times what's paid. Okay, maybe a little bit more than sickening. Take a typical NSIV bag, which is strictly saline. You can make it at home for less than a cent. Hospitals purchase theirs for a little less than $1 each when bought in bulk. Remember, manufacturers are making massive amounts of profit. And American medical institutions are for-profit entities also. So you should completely understand and even thank them for doing their capitalist part when they turn around and charge you up to $800 for one. That's what capitalism is all about, people. Well, what if I told you that currently I am, and can, and will continue to produce and distribute food to everyone for absolutely free? No markup, no cost, no expenses, no paying it forward, which is great, don't get me wrong. Just simply free. Free food, what? Impossible, right? How could someone ever be able to take something that is already absolutely free? It's free, people, and available to us all around us, in nature, harvest and process it, which both takes money, and distribute it, all while keeping the free element. Well, somehow the government, through a program called SNAP, funded by, yep, you guessed it, the USDA, gives out free food via food stamps every day. Nonprofit organizations do the same thing through food banks. Church soup kitchens, shelters, food pantries, the list goes on. All completely free food at no charge to the recipients. What happened to the costs involved, the expenses, the enormous amounts of profit? You see, in these free food examples, the food really isn't truly free. Cleverly, it's made to seem free by simply shifting the burden of costs to another party. Us. The people, the taxpayers, the donors, the church members. So yeah, definitely not free. But even if it were free, is that really good enough? Today, we want it chemical-free, hormone-free, and GMO-free as well. It needs to be local, organic, healthy, farmers market quality, and grown, harvested, and distributed in an ecological and environmentally friendly way without a carbon footprint. Not processed by minimum wage employees without benefits, or foreign under minimum wage employees without running water, or Asian slave labor employees without hope, so that big box stores can sell it cheaper than their competition. Is that too much to ask? Am I really pushing what's permitted here? We're talking about nothing short of a revolution in the world's food system. Making healthy food available to everyone changes how we, our families, our children, and future generations eat for the better. Don't they deserve it? So the question then becomes, how do we actually really truly produce and provide not only free, but healthy organic food without the use of smog-belching smokestacks and diesel-guzzling, carbon-fuming, environmentally unfriendly 2-ton tractors? Well, this is where our story actually starts. Newly married couple, each only 25 years old, both engineers with very lucrative careers, typical dreams, aspirations, and only one thing on our minds: money. They decide that they're sick of corporate America, consumerism, capitalism, the government, and the hustle and bustle of society. So they cash in all their investments, sell 2 waterfront homes in 2 different countries, all the vehicles, jet skis, and other toys, burned all the cell phones, TVs, and computers, and left society completely. No news, no TV, no internet, no communication. 16 months later, the economy crashed, Obama was elected president, we went to war, again, and we never even knew about it. Sounds great, right? Here's the catch. Now we had to provide everything for ourselves. No easy task, mind you. So we built our own home with our own hands, for free, raised our own livestock, harnessed free electricity from the sun and wind, and attempted to grow our own food. Contrary to popular belief, you can't just throw down a few seeds, do a quick rain dance, and grow food anywhere you want, as I, a child of the hippie movement, had been led to believe. In reality, when water makes contact with the dry, desert, 110-degree dirt, there's a violent thermal reaction that occurs that instantly turns the water into steam. Nope, traditional farming techniques weren't an option. So I did what any extremely intelligent and very good-looking young engineer would do. I turned to the marijuana growers for help. Hydroponics has actually been around since ancient times, and thoughts of long-term space travel is typically credited for today's high-yield, low-water methods. Nitrogen-rich fish wastewater is pumped up and fed to the plant roots in a closed-loop system. With the help of bacteria, the plants extract the nitrites and nitrates, oxygenate and clean the water, and let gravity do the rest. So in 2004, I set out and built my first system. Although I'm sure the levels were way off, it actually produced fruits and veggies very well, very quickly. We located the system underground where it's about 20 degrees cooler, used ultraviolet LEDs to encourage flower, foliage, and fruit growth, and the results were incredible. In fact, we were getting about 3 to 5 times more food than 2 adults could even hope to consume. So what does the brightest person with the best smile on the planet do when he's producing way too much food to consume? Scale up. So I built a solar-powered, climate-controlled, 4,800 cubic foot building. Since you're not limited to a one-dimensional plane with hydroponics, as you are with farming, you grow multiple times more food in a fraction of the space. We're currently seeing about 2 times the production rate, 2 times the size of produce, 2 times the nutrient short contents from what I can test, and about 4 times the quantity from the indoor year-round growing cycle. Then there's 99% less effort, 99% less cost, 99% less water, and almost 99% less loss when compared to current annual industrial food production yields, without the heartache of bugs and pests and cold spells, heat spells, droughts, fertilizing, pesticides, or watering of any kind. Not to mention the protein aspect of growing fish and other water aquatics in 7 hydroponic bays, fed by a 1,000-gallon fish tank, housing 100 tilapia, 20 Appaloosa catfish, 25 freshwater lobsters, shrimp, mussels, the whole 9 yards. Again, incredible results. And what does the best dressed, most yada 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 do when he's growing enough food to feed a small community? Why, scale up, of course. So my next thoughts went to hydroponically grown fruit and nut trees. Why not, right? And I wondered, why hasn't anyone attempted such a thing, growing hydroponic trees? And still, again, we witnessed the same results. Exponential production of produce in a fraction of the space with basically zero loss and no effort. In fact, now this is insane, check this out. Tree-grown fruit turned out to be even more lucrative and rewarding. Even with preserving the extras, this amounted to about 75 to 100 times more food than we could ever eat in a year, creating a snowball effect that rolled over into each following year. So what does the best, greatest, most... Yeah, you get the idea by now. We're going to scale up. We'll be building a 60,000 square foot natural and passive climate-controlled warehouse, which will provide fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, fish, shrimp, lobsters, and to resolve the piling up problem, a free-to-eat restaurant and grocery store on site. And the next thing my extremely patient and supporting wife said was, how are we going to pay to build a factory that feeds everyone? So after we invested all of our money on this endeavor, we decided we'd give you the opportunity to get in on this since day one. How nice of us, right? Seriously though, come on. We can make this a reality. I know we can, but we really need your help. Will you help?
We need money in order to create, ultimately, a system of doing business that doesn't charge or pay or use money in any way, while still providing the same or better products and services as today's businesses that control everything through money. Isn't that ironic? If you'd like to contribute right now and join us in this colossal cause, I can tell you that any amount will be worth it. We need help from you, the participants. If nothing else, we have some interesting times ahead of us all. Let's see what we can do to them in cooperation, together. Thanks.